Okay, this is how I store my yourizzix dies and embossing folders. These are Sterilite containers. They're 3 drawers. There are 3 towers standing next to each other, and I keep them, like this particular drawer has all of the Tim Holtz dies, alteration dies. This one's Ellison Education. I don't have a precise filing system. You could certainly put tabs in. I do keep on hand one of these little lights in case I can't see inside, because it's kind of in a shadowy portion of the room, and I just keep it in there so I can pop that on and see. If you want to tab these, if you have some of these, or if you want to get some of these and you want to put tabs inside, just make sure that you're aware it's going to eat away at the space inside. Even chipboard tabs will take up space. So I just kind of remember where things are, especially if I keep the like items together, like shapes together, the Tim Holtz stuff together, the Ellison Education together, then I kind of remember which shape I'm looking for and which drawer to reach into. I haven't labeled them yet, but this one has all of my embossing folders, and there's quite a few, and I keep the yourizzix and the Cuttlebug ones in there all kind of combined. So that's how I store my yourizzix dies and embossing folders. I forgot to mention the extra large dies are just stacked up on top. There you go. Okay, let's answer some of these questions, and I'm looking at them on my Kindle, so let me see if I could just make this a little larger. Okay, Kim Scrapper asks, how long have you been crafting? Well, it's kind of not a complicated, but it's a twofold question, or answer. I've always been creating something with my hands for as long as I can remember. When I was a child, I was into origami. We didn't have a lot of money when I was a child, so I kind of played with whatever was at my disposal, and I drew, I painted. I always had a little bit of a artistic strain in me. Sometimes was completely underdeveloped because, you know how when families have expectations, I felt in a way that I couldn't really go in that direction, so it wasn't until I was an adult that I actually rekindled my love for creating. So much so that I have a side business where I do party planning, and the party planning also includes creating invitations, and that I started up several years ago. So in essence, I've been making cards for probably for the last 10 years or so. Let's see, what's my favorite thing to craft? I think I'd have to say it's a toss-up between cards and ATCs, artist trading cards, because they're just such a small little footprint. I don't know if anyone else has noticed, but I have this fascination with teeny tiny things. That's probably why so many of my minis and projects are so minuscule. How about your favorite food? Oh, my favorite food has to be sushi, hands down. And after sushi, olivia, which is a Russian potato and vegetable salad. Maybe someday I'll show it to you. Holiday traditions. We don't have too many holiday traditions. My family is Jewish, my husband's is Lutheran, so we're kind of like the religious mutts. We pick and choose and we celebrate everything. Essentially, we have a menorah next to the Christmas tree. Not too close, because, you know, we don't want it to go up in flames. And you are welcome. I never think that I'm an inspiration to anybody. All I do is create from the heart. I guess that's really the most succinct way to put it. If it doesn't feel right to me, I don't produce it, or I don't send it, or I don't give it. I've thrown out projects that weren't up to my expectations. That's not unusual. Okay, then Nancy has, Going Quick Crazy, who's Nancy, has some questions. Whew, wow, she really did ask a lot. What's your favorite thing to make? Again, probably ATCs, because they're 2.5 by 3.5 inches that you don't feel overwhelmed to produce like some ginormous project. And I have a tendency not to get overwhelmed, but lose focus. I don't know. Maybe it's because I have so much going on, but what is your not finished until you add this item? Well, I actually have to rein myself in because all too often I can go overboard. So, you know that expression, the old expression, before you leave the house, take an accessory off? That kind of thing. Like, I have projects that have been sitting around because I think, oh, it just needs a little something something. As soon as I give it a little bit of space, a day or two, and I re-examine it, I typically find that it's complete as it is. I'm a bit of a minimalist. I don't really do a lot of whistles and bells, not because I don't know how to. It's just it doesn't feel right to me. If I was a furniture, I'd be Scandinavian. I don't know if that makes any sense to anybody, but if it does, let me know. What's the most useful tool that you have purchased? I have to say, most recently, having lost my pick, my craft pick, I found that I relied on it far more than I ever anticipated. But I'm really looking forward to playing around with the Quick Cuts Zutter machine that I just got from Blitzy, because I'll have kits available, and this is going to be the most succinct way and most concise way to keep them consistent. Let's see, what's the most unuseful tool you've purchased? I'm sure I have some. I'll have to think about it, and I'll put a message up on the screen. When my mojo flies out the window, what do you do to get it back? Typically, I don't really look at crafting magazines. I really look more at life. This is gonna sound strange, but I sometimes go to the hardware store. And for some reason, the way my mind works, I see things, what they could be repurposed for. So hardware store is a big place for me to stop in, and it's right down the street, so it's an easy kind of mojo pick-me-up. I do find that watching other people's videos, although I can genuinely appreciate their artistic flair and the creations that they make and the beauty and all of that, I simply don't feel right reproducing it. I don't know if that makes any sense. If I borrow an idea, if it's something that I'm going to be showing as a presentation, I always check with the owner or the person that I saw it on, out of courtesy, because I would expect that same kind of courtesy in return. There's nothing worse than feeling like somebody stole an idea from you and is getting credited with being the genius to come up with it. And granted, you, there's just a finite amount of ideas out there, but when someone comes up with something pretty clever, I want to be able to credit them with being the originator of it. And if they weren't the originator and they have the information provided where they saw it, I include that as well. Courtesy and a thank you goes a long way. You don't have to be cutthroat in a crafting business. Like, really? This is for fun. Or at least it should be for fun. Let's see. Your favorite colors are purple and black. They are. Black more so than purple, probably. And because I think black is grounding. Everything goes with black. You can have the most obnoxious color, you pair it with black, and it just seems to flow. Same thing with white. That's why I have a tendency to layer my cards with black and white, and then a pop of color or a pattern. What's your least favorite colors or color combos? Well, that's an easy one. I'm not a fan of orange or yellow. I don't know what it is about those two colors. They do absolutely nothing for me. I don't tend to reach for them, and I had a color challenge several months back on a Friday video, and I forced myself to use those two, and it was okay. You know, like, if you don't love something, you need to step away. Let's see, what else? What are you going to show us? Really cool piece of wall art. Oh, okay. The next bit, it will be showing you the wall art, and we did put it up, so I will be right back to show that to you and then continue with the questions. This is the wall art. It's a metal tree, and each of the leaves are blings. So what I'm going to do is, I've been collecting tiny little picture frames, and I'm going to put them all around the tree of the different family members. So there it is. Okay, back to the questions. Crafty Chick 01 asks, I need to make Hanukkah card for a friend, and I wanted to do a dreidel, but unsure what kind of Hebrew letter I can put. There are 4 on letters on a standard dreidel, and not the kind made in China, because sometimes those are inaccurate, and you can totally Google what they're supposed to be. Let me see if I have one nearby. I don't know if you're going to be able to see it. But see that little thing that looks like a teardrop and this little weave? That's one letter you can put on there. And again, you can capture those images off of Google, so you don't have to try to write it or draw it. Let's see. Oh, congratulations, you bought the die. Great. Let's see. Crafty Lenny says, thank you for your information. Share with us. You're welcome. Finally got the nerve to make a video. I hope someday to be as comfortable in front of the camera as you are. Do you take a class or did you acquire skills for practice? This is all through practice. I have almost 750 videos, and through time, trial and error, you kind of find out what you're comfortable with and what conveys the real you. I really try not to be fake. It's easy to kind of get lost in the explanations, but I really do try, especially when I'm showing a project, explain everything that I'm using. And if I ever forget, that's why I maintain my blog that has detailed recipes on the projects that I do, because sometimes I do have a tendency to forget, and it's easier than listing everything in the description. Especially for projects that I do as part of a design team, it's always much more concise on my blog. So for those of you who aren't already following my blog, I'll include a link in the description below, so any additional information I typically provide there, including embedded links. For example, if I show a project that I'm using current products, I try to link those products directly to either the manufacturer site or to where I was able to pick up the items, especially if they were a great deal, like the Blitzy information or Peachy Cheap, or either of the companies that I designed for, like Stamper's Best or Wild Orchid Crafts. I try to embed each one of those descriptive items directly to the item, or at least the website, so you can check them out for yourself. I'm not trying to jam anything down anyone's throat. I'm only providing the information, and I feel like you're about to hear dogs bark. I feel like the more information you have, the more knowledge you have, the better educated consumer you'll be. I'll have to be right back. I think someone's at the door. Sorry about that. What's the adage? Don't work with children or animals. They'll upstage you each time, and they always do. Ooh. Okay. Did I answer that whole question? Let's see. Doing videos. It really is just from practice. The more you do it, the more comfortable you'll become. The more you'll find your own little groove. I definitely do videos when my husband's not home, because I don't know what it is, but the moment I seem to turn the camera on, he has an urgent question he needs to ask me. That's probably the case. It's, what is that, Murphy's Law? He'll be quiet for hours, like not ask me anything. And then suddenly, the moment I turn the camera on, do you know? Yeah. So that's kind of how it goes. And actually, I don't edit a lot of videos. I do segments and then I link them together, which I have found is by far the quickest and easiest way for me to do it. If I had to do a lot of editing, I probably would be dissuaded from doing videos as often as I do. I figure if it doesn't come out right the first time, I mean, I have nixed videos and I've pulled videos down, like the fail I had with the glass glitter, German glass glitter earlier this week, and I apologize for that. And you know what? I'm human, I'm not infallible, I make mistakes. I had the information straight in my head, but when I said it and did the video, it came out all backwards. And a viewer was kind enough to point it out very nicely. It wasn't anything malicious or, you're wrong. So in order to not have to correct the whole screen information, I just took the video down, and I will do another one. So that's fine. I don't mind. I mean, I know I make mistakes. Everybody does. That's what makes us human. See. Question. I know you purchased a Kindle. I'd like to know what it is. Oh, if you take on it versus the Nook. And that's from Paula, which is who's 4591 Mazda. Well, Paula, I'm using my Kindle right now, and I have to say I'm loving it. There is one caveat. Amazon has released a statement that they will be updating the functionality or the touch response, which is a little bit not wonky, but not quite what it should be. I have only seen one Nook. I haven't really played around with it, so my comparison between the two would be difficult, or it wouldn't be accurate, because I am definitely a Kindle user. This is my third Kindle. I've had 3 of the 4 generations, plus now I have the Fire, so I definitely love the product because I keep going back to it. I love the availability. I love the the support. Anytime I've had an issue, they've been very responsive. I had a cord cable once splice, like literally fall apart. They overnighted another one to me without any question. So I like the customer service. Whereas the Nook may be just as fabulous, if not more so. Unfortunately, I'm not in a position to be able to give you that advice. But there are plenty of comparison sites available online. All you need to do is just Google comparison, Kindle versus Nook, and some people have gone through the efforts of comparing them side by side. So I would definitely recommend that, Paula. So that was from Paula. Let's see. Next one is from Pat. She has a question about camera. Do I recommend for beginners? Well, for most of my videos, I used a flip, and I have a couple of different flips. Let me see if I could reach one. I have an entire drawer in my desk with all my cameras. I have a webcam, which is a Logitech HD. Let's see which one that is. Yes, I have duct tape. That's how I attach it. Hold on, my camera is telling me that I'm going to lose power. Let me plug it in so I don't actually lose it, and then I'll show you my cameras that I've used for majority of the time. This is my first tripod, and occasionally I still do use it. It's just a little metal tripod. I think I got it for free for doing a survey. Repositionable. Really easy to use. If you're doing something up close, or if you're showing a screen, you can place it right in front of your monitor, so it's easy to use. And then I have 2 flips. Let me just move my camera out of the way. Both of these are HD. One is 2 hour, one is 1 hour. That's really the only difference. I have the Mino HD, and let's see. And I've given one of these away already. Not one of these, but I had another one I gave to my sister. And this is the Ultra. So the Ultra is 2 full hours of space, and the Mino is 1 hour. They're both HD, both have the USB on board, both have the software. Unfortunately, the one caveat about fingerprints about these cameras is that they don't zoom very well. I did fix the wide angle issue by getting this little wide angle lens, which is magnetic. So there's a I've attached a little metal ring that came with this camera. There were 3, so I could put them on each one of my cameras, and that does make a big difference. So what it does is it gives you a wider space so you can show more of your project if you're doing that while using this lens. So I have that, but I use this for probably 90% of my videos. The most recent acquisition is the JVC Averio 1080 HD camera, which is the one I'm using right now. Obviously I can't show it to you, but I do have a video that I will link, probably up here, to when I unpacked it And those are these are the cameras that I used most of the time, and I swore by my flip, and I probably had dozens of people who ran out and bought flips, family and friends and some viewers, because I had recommended them. I was very sad to hear that they were no longer going to be supported or produced, so at that point I figured it was a good opportunity for me to upgrade, especially since I do so many videos. So at that point, that's when I got the Averio. And I'm quite happy with it. I would have been even happier had I got it for the fabulous prices that it's now available at. I think during the Black Friday it was available as low as $129, and they come in different colors, but I could care less about the colors. I just get the plain black or the standard black, because it's the camera functions that I'm concerned with, not the leopard print, because I don't really need a leopard print camera. So hopefully that answers your questions. Let's see what else. Now the questions, totally different subject. Do you have any videos or recommend to watch to learn how to make scrapbooks and mini albums? There is a plethora of experts who have put together videos for how to make mini albums. A couple of good people to try is follow the paper trail, which is Laura, and she doesn't do as many videos as she does Ustream classes these days, but you could certainly check out, I will include a link in the description below to her channel. And if anybody else wants to recommend, by all means, please recommend somebody for Pat, because honestly I'm not as much into mini albums as I am into like overall crafting art world, so I'll rely on you girls and guys to to recommend somebody for Pat. Let's see, this next question is Mrs. Tracy 333. How are you recording? From above, the side, and front, and what do you use to record? I do have a video, which I will include right here, of what my standard setup is. I have a tripod. Actually, maybe you might be able to see it. See? In the reflection, here's the tripod. The camera is overhead. Oh, it's my computer monitors over there. So the tripod is right here. The camera is overhead on a tilt mount, and I use a Targus 66-inch expandable or extendable tripod. I find it's very useful, except my little crank stopped cranking, and I actually have to send them an email because the place that I bought it refuses to take it back or exchange it. So yeah, I have the camera mounted above, and the tripod is in between my knees in front of me on my desktop. So that's why sometimes when I'm doing projects on camera, it's a little cumbersome. It's a little tedious because I have to either look in the viewfinder, which my camera does luckily now have, or I have to look over the camera or on the side of the camera, so sometimes I'm just kind of moving my projects around. I don't have anything that I can mount my camera above me without having a tripod in front of me, because my desk is in a corner and there's nothing overhead. So it's not like I have a bookshelf next to me that I could mount it on the side. So I've yet to figure out like a perfectly good solution for this. When I do Ustreams, which I do with my webcam, I mount my computer off to the side, and I have my computer off to the side and my webcam is attached to the tripod, but I put it on the shortest setting on my desk, pointed at my desktop. If that makes any sense. So it's to the left of me, which I could probably try to do for projects, but I always feel like I like being able to see the viewfinder. Okay, the next questions are from Charles Babushka. I think that's what it is. My question is, what video do you use to record? I answered that already. And upload. Your videos come out so clear and pleasure to watch. Well, thank you. The software that comes with this camera, with this JVC, is really easy to use. If you do segments, for example, if you do step-by-step instruction video and you want to link them together, all you have to do is do the little segments, upload everything, and the upload is one push of a button, and then you select which order you want them to be put in for the creation of the movie, and then you upload it directly to YouTube. It's very easy. I find it's one of the easiest things to do. So, didn't want to lose the place. Alright. See, this is one of the things that they haven't resolved. This little black bar that appears on my view. This is supposed to be at the bottom of the screen, but it doesn't. It appears in the middle for some reason. So let me see. I answered that question. What else? I love the stamps you bought from Stamper's Best. Oh, Stamper's Best are really great products. I don't stand behind many companies, and those that I do, I have to truly believe in. So, and they're great quality, made in the United States, and I love supporting them. Let's see. I know. Right. Oh, I have to answer that one separately, privately. Let's see. Hanukkah project. I hope you guys got I hope I made enough Hanukkah projects for you guys. There'll be one more, which is going to be a surprise, and I'm going to try to do that later today after I log off of work. I'm kind of taking a break from work right now to do this video. Okay. And those are the questions that I had from there, but then I had a couple of others, so I'll be right back with a couple of the questions that someone had about chipboard. Okay, what this ginormous thing you see in front of you is my Purple Cows trimmer, and this is the one that I use for chipboard cutting. And the fabulous part about this one is it comes apart, because the part that this is the part that I use to cut chipboard, and this is the guillotine part for paper, and it's bladeless. It's actually super sharp edges on the metal that comes across the other metal. There's a safety guard. It's pretty good. I don't often use that part, but I do use this part, which is, let me just aim you a little further down. There you go. This is the part that I use for cutting my chipboard, and I use medium weight chipboard most of the time, probably 99% of the time. And this is what I use, and I use the straight edge cutter. It comes with two others, a perforate and a scallop. So let me just grab a piece of chipboard, and this has a swing out arm, so you can measure, I think, up to 9 inches. So if you need to cut more than that, I would say join it back together. But I like being able to use this one. So let's see, if I want to cut 3-inch pieces, and it has locking mechanisms that put the chipboard locked down. So, and I keep it locked when it's not in use. I'm just gonna unlock it, and you just by pushing the levers out. And I do a lot of this stuff vertically because, or I set up vertically because I have so little space. Plus, if I try to put this down, the camera is going to knock it off. So there's a couple of standard built-in sizes, like 3x5, 4x6, 8x10. I'm going to line this up with a 3x5 and then lock it down and show you how I cut it. This is a rubberized pressure gauge, so you push down, and it sometimes takes more than one pass. And again, I have the camera in front of me, so I can't put all the pressure that I ordinarily would. See, ugh. It's because I can't get a good. Okay. It's like a comedy of errors. It really is much better than this. It does cut a very clean edge. I don't know if it's self-sharpening, but I have not had to replace the blade yet. So then you just unlock it, and there's the 3-inch strip that I just cut. So that's the one that I use. I know there are lots of them out on the market, and I've had a couple of different ones that I'm not happy with, so this is the one that I end up using on my day-to-day things when I cut chipboard. So there's the chipboard answer.